started to clip the bag together, just like you would any other cosmetic type bag. You want to make sure that when you are clipping the sides that you match up the two spots so that they are identical, and that's the most important. And then we're just coming along the edge. We're going to sew with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance on the exterior part and about a 1/2 inch or so on the lining. We always do that whether it calls for it in the pattern or not, so that our lining will fit more snugly inside our bag. Get this in place. Make sure that you have your D-rings laying flat. You don't want to hit it when you're sewing over here. Better safe than sorry. Those things can shift around a little bit. And I have put back my my regular foot back on. We are going to sew down the sides, both sides, and we're going to sew the bottom of the exterior. We won't sew the little box part yet, and we're not going to sew the bottom of the lining here, because we're going to berth the bag initially through that, and then we're going to pull this through the zipper pocket here. Speaking of zippers, make sure all your zippers are unzipped. So the middle zipper, top zipper, and your zipper there. Not that you couldn't unzip them when the bag is sewn up, but it's easier this way. So we're back to a 3.5 inch stitch length, and we're going to go ahead and start. Doesn't matter where you start. We're going to do about a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance on the exterior. If you need to mark your seam allowance, you can, or if you have a edge guide or edge foot, when you get near that the D-ring, go ahead and go over it a couple times. And now we're just going to increase our seam allowance just a little to about a 1/2 inch when we hit the lining side. Back stitch on there. We'll do this side. We're starting on the lining side, so we'll start with about a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And we'll kind of taper back in. Now we're going to do a 3/8. We're hitting the connector tab, so we're going to go over it just one time to reinforce it. Continue on with our 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. And we're going to sew the bottom seam of the exterior, also with 3/8. You can see where we're not hitting the foam. The foam has been cut away by that particular seam allowance for that very reason. And that is that. What we can do now is we'll go ahead and trim off this excess zipper tab, not zipper tab. What we'll do now is go ahead and trim off this excess D-ring connectors, and then we'll come back and do the boxing, and it's almost done. So we're ready to box up the exterior corners. So it's easy just to reach inside your bag, kind of pop the corners open, and then if you're a quilter, you know that you can nest those seams to get a nice perfect match. And then put a couple of clips in there, and we're going to sew across both sides with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay. I'm going to do a 1/2 inch just to be crazy. I like to go back and forth. The seam. Pull it, give it a little trim so that it'll poke out nice. Now we'll do this side. Like I said, I decided to do a 1/2 inch seam allowance, but you can do whatever you like. This. Oops. This one came apart, so we'll do it again. Pop it open, nest your seams, put a clip in it, sew it. So, get my scissors. I'm going to do one more. Give it a trim. And now we're going to pull our bag through the open zipper, and then we have this big old opening here, so there's not going to be any major stress on us or the bag. So excited. So first the lining comes out. So now we pull the bag through here. And be gentle, even though I know we have a large turn area, we still want to be kind to her. And then poke out your beautiful boxed edge corner. Another beautiful boxed corner. Use a pokey stick to, if you need to get your zipper up here. It looks great. We'll smooth it out, but for now, we have a stray thread here. For now, here is your beautiful bag. All we got to do now is finish off the lining by pulling it through the zipper pocket here. So we are going to go in here